People of the internet! I got another story pulled up here, folks. Of course, some of this information I want to believe that you guys already know. But at the same time, it's good that we speak on these things as a reminder so we don't forget. Because again, folks, as I mentioned, of course, on this channel, I like to talk about philosophy, self-improvement, and the culture. I like to speak on things that hopefully offer you some take-home value for you, the viewer. Things that you can think on, things that you can think on, things that you can ponder on, take back to your family, share, make sure you guys are all aware, because awareness is key. I have a story pulled up here. It comes from NBC News. Again, I see things, title strikes me of interest, choose to speak on it. NBC News had a segment in which they titled it, "The Feds Warn of, quote, vast surveillance of your online data." Folks, these cell phones, they're tracking devices. We're constantly being monitored. We're constantly being watched. All our information. We always see these data hacks and, oh, such and such was hacked. All the credit card information of these people were hacked, yada, yada, yada. So it's not like we're not aware of these things, but there's things that we should take into consideration when we're, either using these devices for ourselves, using these devices, giving these devices to our children, things of that nature. Let's get into this short video here. It looks like it's only about a minute and some change long. Again, it comes from NBC News. Video is titled, "Feds Warn of Vast Surveillance of Your Online Data." Let's get into it.
Federal investigators call it a vast surveillance of anyone using some of the most popular social media and streaming companies, including Amazon's Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter X, Snap, TikTok, Reddit, WhatsApp, and Discord, gathering user age, gender, and location, even marital status and income to target ads and sell the data to third parties.
They've amassed vast profiles of just about every American, including Americans that don't even use these services.
The FTC says companies are too often failing to protect personal information, exposing users, including children and teens, to a range of threats from identity theft to criminal stalking. And Congress needs to create tough new privacy laws. What are these companies doing with the data they collect on all of us?
We were quite disturbed by the fact that some of these companies did not even know all of the third parties with whom they were sharing data.
Today, many of the companies refuted or declined to comment on the report, though in the past, Meta Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has defended his company.
We give people the ability to connect with the people they care about and to engage with the topics that they care about.
Online advertisers today said consumers understand the value exchange and welcome the opportunity to have access to free or highly subsidized content and services. But security pros say most of us simply scroll through the long user agreements when we sign up.
It's either opt in or you don't get to use the service. And so many people are in a hurry and they don't read it.
The bottom line, it may be easy to delete an account, but not your digital footprint. That could live forever.
Scary, isn't it? How many of those apps are on your phone right now as you speak? I know I got a couple of mine. The part that got me, let me see if I could pull up this one screen here, which I thought was interesting. Scary, isn't it? One would ask themselves, well, why the hell will an app need to know my age, my gender, my location, my marital status, and my income? Think about it. Now, again, of course, because it's targeting ads. So, of course, you see in the clip, targeting ads, selling personal data to third parties. Who are these third parties that these apps are selling my information to? Why would a social media platform or any of these platforms need to know my age, gender, location, marital status, and income? Now, from a marketing standpoint, of course, so that way they'll rebuttal and say, oh, so that way we could, enhance your user experience. Because, of course, I work in tech a little bit as well, too, so I'm familiar. We want to be able to enhance the user experience for our users. So let's only hit them with targeted ads that they will be able to resonate with on the surface level, right? That's the surface level answer. Oh man, we're seeking your best interest. We're only collecting this data so that way we can only show you things that would be relevant to you, is what they say. It's a bit scary if you ask me. It gets deep. Of course, we've all seen the documentaries and things of that nature. Again, I want to believe that all of us are under the impression, or all of us are aware, I should say, that these things are indeed happening. These phones, they're monitoring devices. I always see a joke. If you're ever trying to be a fugitive and go off the grid, the first thing you must do is throw this phone as far as you can. The instant you feel like, oh man, I need to go, The first thing you got to do, just take the phone, launch it. That's the first thing, because they're monitoring us 24/7. You saw the one lady even said it in the video as well too. We consent to a lot of this stuff. You know that long ad when you sign up for something? When you're signing up for a new platform or a new subscription or whatever the case is, that long stuff that we don't really read, we scroll through it. We hit okay, apply, and then hit next. Has anybody ever taken the time to read exactly what we're consenting to? What are you consenting to when you skip over that long legal jargon, as we call it? What did you consent to? Because in their defense, they're always going to be able to say, don't you remember? It says here that you were okay. You acknowledge that, yes, I have read. Remember that box that says, I have read the da-da-da-da-da, whatever? You check the little box, yes, I have read the da-da-da-da-da, the terms and the conditions at the other, but we don't read it. Because like the lady said, you just want access to whatever it is, what it is, whether it's the subscription, the ad, whatever it is, we don't read it. That long agreement is how they get us. They know 100%, especially the long people. They're not, the young kids, whatever the case is, nobody's going to read that. Let's say you just get this new device, or your new iPhone, your new PlayStation, your new whatever, and they hit you with that long service agreement. Do you really take the time to read it, or you just hit okay and click and go forward with what you're doing? So part of us are guilty. And then the thing is, a lot of us, if we were to take the time to read that stuff, we would not be consenting to all of the things, all of this tracking that's going on. So of course, it's a little bit scary again, folks. I want to believe that all of us are under the impression that, yes, we are being monitored, we are being tracked. They all, facial recognition and, fingerprints and this, that, and the other. All the technologies that's happening now in the world. It's to the point, to be completely honest, I'm at the point right now, all these hackings, you always hear these, Visa got hacked, and this got hacked, and that got hacked. I'm fully under the impression right now that all my information dwells within somewhere on the internet. I think, honestly, I think this was even in a documentary. I forgot the documentary that was on Netflix. I think there's just a huge database. There's a huge database with all of us. All of us. I don't think anybody's exempt. If you are active on social media, even if you're not active on social media, I believe somewhere out there in space, or somewhere out there, there's underwater, like data centers, whatever the case is. I think there's information, all of us, on extensive hard drives. Everything. Things that you think are private, even those encrypted things like WhatsApp and all those encrypted apps, like, this message is encrypted. Only you have access to it. Yeah, right. It's password protected. Nobody can get into this. Use your facial recognition. Yeah, right. Don't fall for that. So it's to the point now, I'm fully under the impression right now that there's a database with all my information, all my interests, all my likes, who I talked to, who I did what, all this. They got you. They got you. I had a conversation with my niece the other day as well too. She was telling me how she got more cloud space on her phone because for someone with 128 gigabytes that are on her phone, it's clearly not enough for her. So in order for her to get the new software update, she had to get more storage space and get the cloud. Of course, Apple Cloud or iCloud, whatever it's called. And me personally, I don't trust the cloud. Of course, anything that's on the internet is severely hackable. It can be easily hacked. So when we download our information or we save our information to the cloud, where is the cloud? I saw somebody once say on Twitter that the cloud is just somebody's hard drive. Blood type 2, all of that. Blood type, health history, this, that, and the other. I saw somebody say the cloud is just a place, somebody's hard drive in somebody's basement. This cloud, I uploaded my information to the cloud. Or I saved all my info to the cloud. Where is the cloud? Who has access to this cloud? What information of me is available in this cloud? It's scary, folks. It's scary. So again, I see notifications like this, and at least they're not hiding it. They're not even hiding it anymore. And again, this publication came from NBC News. I think the video was only 6 days ago, where the feds are admitting that vast surveillance is taking place on your online data. So I'm not saying that you should feel helpless in this situation. Just be aware. Be aware, and don't be too alarmed that your credit card information has been seized. Your address, your income, all of that, your blood type, your social, all of that is nicely stashed away in a database on these apps that we use every single day. Every single day. See, that's how they get you. It's like they give you something that you want, but they take way more from you, or something that's of greater value to you. Your information, personal information, things that you think are private. It's scary out here, folks. I pose the question again. What happens to a society who realizes that their justice system is flawed and their governments and federal agencies are surveilling them and watching their every single move. All those marketing ads and this, that, and the other, all these ads that you see, you could think about something and lo and behold, it shows up on your Explore page. What's going on in the world? What happens to a society when they no longer want to be surveilled by these agencies and watched and monitored? What happens to an individual or a group of individuals that's fed up with the system and says, hey man, this system doesn't seem to be caring about me or just the little guys. It's only about the rich. It's only about the wealthy. It's only about the people who are in power. That's who seems to be given the most grace in some of these situations. Whereas us, the little folks, the regular folks, the average everyday people like you and me, we take the hard end of all the catastrophes, and I feel like guinea pigs a lot of the times as well too. Like we're ants in a little, those little ant farms you used to play with as a kid. I feel like ants sometimes in a greater system that is bigger and larger beyond anything that any of us can comprehend. Much isn't hidden anymore. It's right in our faces. They don't need to lie. Hide for what? Because they know that they'll tell us and we won't do anything about it. That's why. That Netflix subscription, that whatever the case is, all these shows, all these apps, all these devices, they know we've fallen victim to the convenience of these things. So of course we'll sign whatever. Do I agree? Yeah. Oh, I acknowledge that I've read. Yeah. Click here, sign here. Sure. Just give me access. Give me what I'm looking for. So now they can come out and confidently say, yeah, we're monitoring y'all, and what? Yeah, we're watching y'all. Yeah, what? Yeah, we have all your information in a database, and what? What are you going to do about it? You're not going to stop. Myself as well, too. Can I? They got us so good. They got us in the palm of our hands, in the palm of their hands, I should say, whereas it's like they've sold us on convenience and luxury, whereas we're not going to read that whole legal agreement and hit no, because then we won't have access. We won't be able to use, and then we'll be, some of us will fall victim to FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Just be mindful of these things. Sometimes it does make you feel a little bit helpless in the grand scheme of things. But just be mindful of these things, folks. Use a little bit more discernment. All these things that are happening in the world, in a highly technological world that we've grown accustomed to. These are things that are just becoming part of our day-to-day lives. All these apps, it would be very hard for a lot of us to start deleting all of these apps and get rid of our phones, and go back to the landlines. We've come too far to go back to the landline. We've come too far to go back to pen and paper, things of that nature. So they've sold us on convenience. They got us good, myself included. And in return, we give them our lives, essentially, is what it looks like. Those are my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, and subscribes are all greatly appreciated.